What is going on, guys? It's been what, about a week? It feels a lot longer than a week, but we got a lot to talk about this episode in the dead of summer. Summer almost over. Blah blah blah. Let's get into it. So, I was on Instagram as I am, talking with people, talking football and everything, and so one of my Cam Newton fan pages that I follow, apparently Cam or Jalen, somebody brought up the fact that Cam Newton's better than Jalen Hurts, and it sparked a debate. And I thought I'd chime into it. I commented. I got a whole lot of comments and everything, but I wanted to make a full video on it. So this week in sports, we're gonna headline it with the Jalen Hurts versus Cam Newton argument. So let's get into it. So I love Cam. Everybody knows I love Cam Newton. He's the reason I'm doing this series. Him and Deshaun. Um, they're the reason I'm here, right? But I also like Jalen. I love his maturity. Like, he's a blacker version of Russell Wilson, right? So, like, I love both of them. But to compare Jalen to Cam Newton, it's a little bit disrespectful to Cam Newton. I'm talking about Cam Newton leads the NFL history in rushing touchdowns by a quarterback. 3-time Pro Bowler, MVP, Super Bowl representative. Didn't get it done, but he still made it to the Super Bowl. I don't take that away from him just because he lost and played bad in the Super Bowl. A lot of greats have played bad in Super Bowls, so I don't consider that a bad thing. It's like holding LeBron standard to, like, oh, he's this record in the finals, but look at the teams that he got to the finals, and it's like, oh man, them teams shouldn't even have been in the finals to begin with unless Brown was there. So I kind of see that a little bit with Cam. And Cam just didn't come to play. And he told you himself on this pod that he was like, I should have jumped after the football. But needless to say, Cam, he had a top 10 defense 2015. He had Ted Ginn Jr. as his number one receiver. His number one prime receiver was Ted Ginn Jr. We don't even know what Ted Ginn Jr. did before or after Cam Newton. Now, people were in my comment section talking about that, but yeah, he had I'm missing his name, Greg Olsen. He had Greg Olsen. If I'm missaying his name, I apologize. His face will be on the screen. He had Greg Olsen as a primary number one, top 3 tight end at the time. To that, I'm like, okay, that was his offense, but it was him and Greg against the world. You look at that offense, and I think Jonathan Stewart was his running back. No slack to any of these guys, nothing. But this team doesn't run unless Cam plays an MVP season. Now, did Cam have an MVP type of season after that? No. I think they ended up being 7-9 and making the playoffs, and I think they lost to the Giants in the first round. Now, don't quote me on that, but I think that's what happened. Cam really had an up and down career, but if we comparing Cam's best to Jalen's best, I think it's completely different. It's completely different, and Jalen has so much talent around him. Cam never had any of this talent around him, and Jalen's top 5 quarterback. I have him top. I think I have him 4. I leave the playlist to that at the end. I think I have number 4. I got him over Joe Burrow for a myriad of reasons. Go watch the video. But yeah, I can't bring myself to say he's better than Cam Newton just based off the fact he's never had to lug a team like Cam Newton did. Cam had a top 10 defense. I understand that. I'm very aware that defense was very, very special. But offensively, you're not going to sit here and tell me that Cam Newton's offense was anywhere like Jalen's. Jalen is a good maestro. He puts stuff in the right spots to be great, and that's his superpower. He's a good connector of stuff. This team would be talented either way. This team would be great either way, right? But I don't think this team would be as good as it can be if Jalen's not playing at that level as it thunders when it's bright outside. Right? Freaking global warming. But yeah, yeah. So I think Jalen is a great quarterback, top 5 quarterback. People calling Jalen not top 5 because of his talent is BS. That's absolute BS. Joe Burrow got the second best receiver in the game, and y'all got him top 5. Let's not act like talent is some equating of like he's not good. But what Cam was doing versus what Jalen's doing, two completely different beasts, two completely different talents, asked to do completely different things. Cam will ask game changers versus, I forgot how Cam words it, but essentially game changers and essentially I forgot what it's called, what Cam called it, but essentially game managers, game changers, and game managers. So is Jalen a game manager? A little bit. He's a game changer as well because we saw how the offense looked when he didn't play. So I just think they're like two completely different players. Like, but Cam is the better player right now. Right now, anyway. Now, if the accolades for Jalen Hurts gets overwhelming, we'll have to have that conversation. But as of right now, Cam is the better player. If Jalen Hurts goes on to win another Super Bowl and more Pro Bowls and gets another contract and like the talent around him ends up leaving. AJ Brown always talked about leaving this year. If the talent around him starts to leave, I'm almost positive they're not going to be able to keep AJ and Devontae for perpetuity. So one of them are going to leave. They're going to lose some offensive talent, blah, 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 right? Also, coaching is a big thing. Cam had nowhere near the stability at the top that Hurts has. Hurts has probably some of the best stability in the league. Like, I wish Lamar Jackson had this stability at the top, the willingness to go get players, the willingness to just put all your chips to the table, the willingness to go spend the money. Like Cam and Hurts didn't have that, or Cam and Lamar don't have that. So I think Cam's a different animal. But I will say, if I'm projecting outward, Jalen Hurts will end up being better than Cam because the winning will be undeniable. You'd be like, he made 2 Super Bowls, blah, blah, blah. He played his best football in the Super Bowls. Cam didn't. Well, yeah. I agree with that. But Cam just look at the body of work. And I know Cam didn't do a lot of winning, but look at what he had to deal with. And he still made that team relevant. So I don't know if I said anything that resonated with you. So let me know. Let me know what you guys think about it. Few more things in this video. Trey Henderson is still not signed. Shamar Stewart is still not signed. Joe Burrow gonna have to score 8,000 points to win this season. That's just what it's looking like. Shamar Stewart actually, there's a small clause to where he can actually go back and play college football. Now, I wish he would go to the UFL. I really do wish he would go to the UFL and just go chill out there for a season and then just get back into the draft. But I do think that Cincinnati is eventually going to sign him. The reason he hasn't signed his contract is because some language in the contract that if he gets hurt or not gets hurt, if he gets in trouble or something like that, that they can void the contract and he won't be paid. That clause is in none of the other rookies' contracts and they're not in a lot of the players' contracts. So it's like, why would you put that in there? So, Cincinnati, it's being Cincinnati. They don't want to pay nobody. But the fact you're not playing Trey Henderson is unbelievable to me. It's July 22nd and you still haven't paid your best defensive players. Like, what are we doing here? So it's going to go the way of Le'Veon Bell, where he set up a whole season. I think this guy's better than Le'Veon Bell at that time, though, because you can replace a Le'Veon. You can't replace a defensive tackle or a defensive end like this. So, and our final one, WNBA, CBA. So I'm not going to go through all the logistics. You can Google all the logistics. I might leave some information in the description about it. But essentially, they want their share of the revenue. I think it's like 9 point something that they're receiving. They're not even receiving the money off jersey sales. Like, there's a lot of stuff with the WNBA that I just did not know. And you can be like, oh my God, it's not profitable. There's a whole thing with that I'm not smart enough to tell you, but just know there's ways around you being able to pay somebody and you're not profitable. If you go to your job and their job is not profitable, would you still want your fair compensation? That's all I'm saying. With Caitlin Clark coming to the league, with Asia Wilson, all these great women come in the league, making the league better, and the league doing this, and the new TV money coming in, they want a piece of that. And I don't blame them in one bit for wanting a piece of that. So, in layman's terms, they want their money because they see them TV money coming down the pipeline, and they think they're entitled to some of that money, which they are. They are. They very well are. That's what I was going to say. They are entitled to some of that money because they're the players. And something you will not see on this channel for the most part is me caping for the owners. Never. And also, there's a huge thing with the WNBA is that they have a rival, ironically called Unrivaled, where they treat their players better. And is it a conflict of interest for Nafisa Collier to be owning Unrivaled and Over the Players Association? It might be, but they don't even play at the same time. One is in the summer, one is in the winter, so they don't even overlap like that. But yeah, yeah. So it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. I just want to come out here and bring awareness to it. Pay these ladies because there's a reason that growth has been like this. Even before Caitlin Clark came in the league, the growth is like this. So let me know what you guys think. Don't be stupid in my comment section. Uh, who do you have? Jalen Hurts, current Jalen Hurts, or 2015 Cam Newton? Because that's the best version of Cam. Let me know what you guys think. I'll talk to you guys later. If something crazy happen, I'll be here to talk about it. Peace.